Should we do it again?
Okay, so I lost a bet.
Where is it? Where is it?
Right, welcome to the season's review. Jovan said, what is the alternative awards? Well, it's not much to do about cricket, though. I mentioned cricket, we'll mention the food that you choose. But this speech is a bit like my batting on a good day. It's going to be long and drawn out without much to show for it at the end. If you've not been here before, prepare to be insulted and abused. If you have been here before, prepare to be insulted and abused. Don't worry, ladies, this is all about the fellas, the cricketers. You're safe, except people like Wendy, because I've been told I have to use short words and speak slowly. Okay, but let's just use a presidential phrase. The second one of the evening, you have nothing to fear but fear itself. But we have 42 people here. We had 28 last year, I think. 42 people who've chosen to come here. Well done. Instead of going to see Sean Locke at the town hall. And George Groves said, what, is he on at Bledlow Ridge Town Hall? No, he's on at Wickham. But you've made a good choice. And I think we need to talk about everybody. But a lot of people have travelled a long way. Ben Keating's, and well, he's had to come all the way from his house. Have you ever been down his drive? Brooksy went for a run down his drive the other day, collapsed a mile short. And yes, and Sarah has come all the way from Worcester. Ludlow. But I don't. But saying I don't have a gag about that. Whereas Sean, he's a new university student. He's come all the way from Oxford. There's a bus from outside Oxford that takes him to his house. Isn't that wonderful? And is it right, you're at Oxford Brookes University? So you've decided to improve your education, advance your career by going to university with the name Brooks in it. Good luck with that. And Sean is the winner of my first award this evening. He has the award for being the student of the year who within 3 days of going to university lost all his credit cards and his student pass. Didn't he, mummy? We'll make your journey worth it. Anyway, the award for the most feeble excuse for not being here, Mark Neal sadly couldn't come, he's got to work. Fancy having to work. God, managing that saint, isn't that tough? And but the winner of the most feeble excuse is of course Shaky, who we ought to think of. Shaky was under the knife yesterday, had a hip replaced. As if having a hip replaced is an excuse for missing anything. But I don't know if he's on live feed. He's on live feed. Shaky! And there's one award I'd like to make for somebody who isn't a part of this club. Dennis Norden, wonderful wordsmith, died this year. And he wrote the phrase that's on our clubhouse wall, which says that October's a funny month for cricketers. It's when they get home and discover their wives left them in May. And may I like to say, talking of which, Pam has the worst excuse. She went to see Sean Locke because she thinks he's going to be funnier than we are. You are. No, I'm hoping for some interaction here, Bernie. And great to see so many ladies here. You obviously had a reconciliation at the end of the season. When I got home, I was quite surprised to discover Pam was no longer working at Woolworth. But it can be difficult to be original every year. And every time I come round, I think, what material am I going to use? And then I think of Chesh. Chesh, if this speech goes on a bit long, Chesh, it's because of you. And Chesh starts with an award, a unique award. He's the only player at Bledlow Ridge. And this is not probably politically correct, but I cannot help it. He is the only, it's funny because I'm laughing already. He was bowled out by somebody called Lucy Gladdy. Big hand for Chesh, bowled out by Lucy Gladdy. And the season ends and you get a bit bored and you think, what am I going to do? And Chesh has found a job. Well done, Chesh has found a job. Excellent. And I'm sitting at home last week in September, or first week in September, I think, wondering when the cricket season's going to start, and I get this text. And it goes, bored, line manager has gone home sick. We'll be away on time today, if not before. Workflow will pick up towards the end of the week. At least I'm getting paid. And I reply, darling, sorry you're bored. Try finding something interesting to do. Paper darts in the office is always a lot of fun, or a drawing pin on somebody's seat. It's linguine for dinner tonight. Thought you might like to try it before we make our choices for the Bledlow cricket dinner. After dinner, who knows? And don't be late home. Kissy, 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 kissy. P.S. I keep having nightmares about you running me out. Please teach Henry how to run and call before he starts cricket. And Shesh takes it back. I sent that to the wrong person. Anyway, you know I like talking about your choice of food and your menu. We try and make it fairly easy, and I tried again to make it simple for me, but I thought it'd make it simple to you to have the A1, B2 to give you code numbers, and a lot of you were a lot better than last year. David Saint, of course, he's an accountant, very good last year, A1, B3, C2. This year, equally good, but nice little touch, mixed capital letters with small letters, so I thought I was doing an algebra exam. Brooksy, who last year sent me a very rambling email, all I wanted was A1, B1, C2. I think for starter I'll have this. Brooksy went to the trouble of getting the menu list I sent round, photocopied it, ticked against what he and Ros wanted, and sent it to me on WhatsApp. The idea was to make the whole process very easy. Fortunately, they were both having fish cakes, both having linguine, but I said, for goodness sake, Brooksy, I don't know which of you is having sticky toffee pudding, which is having cheesecake. It doesn't matter, Rolfie, I'm eating them both. Taggart replied, I've deleted your email. Graham said, I didn't realise there were desserts, but the first reply I got in was from Penny. Now, Penny virtually runs global healthcare across the whole world. In fact, she's likely to be president of the whole world soon. So she's got a brain the size of Brazil. But I got this reply, oh, Rolfie, it's talk about complicated. Oh, said, I've gone old school and I've given you words, if that's okay. And she came up with the two words she can spell, soup and beef. At least Bernie managed linguine. Well done, Bernie.
I can't spell that.
And there's always a plan in this menu that you've noticed. I always make sure there's a few simple words. So if you're confused by words like risotto, you can have soup and beef. And the other easy one was cheesecake. Bit worried about that, but I thought if you split it up, cheese and cake, you'd manage it. One person in this room went for soup and beef and cheesecake. And I got this email from Dakes. I'm going for the soup, the beef and the cheesecake. Jess will have the chicken liver parfait and risotto and salted caramel pots. And that really tells you all you need to know about it. And all you need to know about Jess, that obviously opposites attract. No table had, this is where I get a bit nerdy, no table had all 11 choices. That table at far end had 10 out of 11. But there was one table for whom the menu was obviously far too complicated. Over here, 4 people had burgers, 4 people have beef. The only reason 4 people had beef was that they didn't know how to spell burger. But all 8 people went for soup. That's never happened before. All 8 people went for soup. Because it's an easy word to spell, but I have to say, Hollywood, there's only one O in soup. And it was you last year as well, Hollywood. Yeah. We had some special requests. Richard Langan wants no sauce, despite the fact he lives with Wendy. Sean wanted a special burger we call a Shawl burger. Midzi got a bit confused over cakes. He chose fish cake, cheesecake and beef cake. We don't have beef cake on the menu. And there was, with the code system, I did think it might cause mental disintegration. Would anyone go for A1, B1, C1? Because they just didn't get it. Well done, Chef. Chesh. Yeah. Chesh, that's mixed here with somebody else. And Sniff thought it was bingo. I'll have all the 3s, please. Hair Bear replied he'd eat anything at all as long as it wasn't Indian. And that he didn't want to sit anywhere near Matt Brightwell. But I have to say you chose risotto, which I thought was a very mature choice for somebody who likes fowl. Just a few clarifications. Sean, it's not salted camel, it's salted caramel. George, there's no such thing as sticky liver parfait. Carrie, chicken liver patty is a starter, not a dessert. And Taj, it's sticky toffee pudding, not stinky toffee pudding, okay? That's probably all on the food, although I did notice this senior table here has a lot of cheese and biscuits. That's probably preparing for the older person's home in a few years to come. Now, moving on to cricket, swiftly. Of course, this season was really about one man. Statistics don't lie. It's about one man, beekeeping. And of course, that's the name of a person, not a hobby. And if you look at this menu card, it's all the figures stand out. If you look at the back of the first team, in the second column, he conceded 7.21 runs per over. A magnificent season for Ben Keating. I think you thought you were going to get a compliment for a minute, didn't you? That's never happened before. Never happened. Okay, the most unlikely event of the year, without doubt, was Taggart's 91 not out. Never made 50 in his life. Big hand. The most artistic celebration of Taggart's getting 50 was Harebear chundering on the patio. The least artistic was Sean taking his shirt off and running around the patio shirtless. The most popular player of the year, doubtless, was Chesh, who 2 matches later realised it was all too much and ran Taggart out before he'd even faced a ball. Well done, Chesh. Going back to that match, Help the Aged Award goes to Jay for batting with Taggart and seeing him through. Caring the Community Award goes to Sniff. On the way to an away game, he was nearly late. He stopped off to get some money out of the bank. There was a lady slowing up earlier on, and she was a bit flustered. And he said, "Can you help me check my balance?" So he pushed her, and she fell over. Eat your heart out, Sean Locke, and everyone who's gone there. Okay. But we're never far away from Chesh, are we? Having been bowled out by Lucy Gladdy. You realised your life's ambition of finally running out a member of the opposition. Just wait, be patient. And you ran out somebody called Joe Hornblow. Did you know that? You ran out a player called John Hornblow. There's no coming back from that, really. But your run out of Taggart did prompt a rather odd award. It's the Great Mate of the Year award for Brooksy. Great mate. It's a bit of a private thing between him and me, because when Brooksy received the news that Chesh had run out Taggart, I think we were at Sandford, is that right? And I think your quote was, "Well done, Chesh. The only person I'd rather it happen to more than Tags is you, Rolfie." Okay, a few quick fire ones. I had the good fortune to play 1 or 2 second team games, and one of them, Chesh was captain. Without doubt, the best Churchillian speech I've ever heard was by Chesh before the game at Kimball. It's quite moving. The best interruption of a great speech was by Malik, who arrived earlier than usual at 2 minutes to kick off and interrupted the speech. The least convincing compliment of a player that this season came in that speech when you said to David Saint, "David, you're number 11 today, but I know you can bat." Oh, I had a note here. I was supposed to say, we'll come back to this one, that apparently a truck's overturned down the Chinner Road. We might have to worry about that one before we go home. Come back to that one. Anyway, fielding. Right, a few quick-fire awards here. Making an easy catch look difficult, but still catching it. Well done, George at Aynsham. Making an easy catch look difficult and dropping it, Ben Keeping at Horsley. And Ben Keeping at Hawley again. Making a difficult catch look easy, Alan, which also was the most unnecessary showing off of the year award. A truly fantastic catch at home to Buckingham, which deserves applause of its own. Yeah, go on. Don't worry, that's the only compliment. I'll bring you down in a minute. George, you got the award for the most spectacular belly dive into a hedge. Remember that one? At Hawley as well? Yeah, made a hole in the hedge, just like Tom and Jerry. The best stop of the year goes to Alan, not in the field. There was 4 to win in a tight game at home to Sandford. Very tight. Were we going to make it in time? Alan was at the non-strikers end. Hamza was batting. Absolutely. It must be my agent. Is it my agent? I'm sorry, I'm taken tonight. And Hamza absolutely belts the winning run. And it was just before the World Cup. Alan tracked it better than any of our players tracked a ball during the whole of the World Cup. Absolutely stone dead. Luckily, we got a for the next ball. But definitely the best stop of the year was by Alan off his own teammate. The most confused sledge of the year was by Chesh. After they ran a quick single to him at Twyford, he said, "Come on, boys, there are no singles to me in the field." And we never quite understood that one, Chesh. The best comment of the year, and I can't remember if it was Brooksy or Birdie, came when Matt Brightwell here beat Hamza, who is like roadrunner. He got to a ball before Hamza. I mean, admittedly, he had a 40-yard start. And the comment that came up, "This is when Hollywood beats Bollywood." The not looking where he's going award goes to Sean, who drove full pelt into a mobile net, now known as the Sean Trap. And the toughest dad award goes to Shaky, who on running up didn't ask how he was, just said you could have dived on it and stopped it when it went past you. The best cross-dresser of the season award went to another player not playing that game, who was Birdie, who was about size 10, and he put Sean's size 6 kit onto field. The most times cricket whites were left at home, he's not here today, but that's Ben Hillary. The award for leaving his kit in the boot of his dad's car goes to Ben Hillary. Well, would that matter? Why don't you get it out of the car, Ben? Yeah, but his car's in the garage back in High Wycombe somewhere. Have to say, serious note, Ben Hillary was here tonight. Great to see him. He's now working for the NHS. He's now on the phones taking some very interesting, quite often difficult calls on behalf of the NHS. Really quite interesting to talk to. So the young man's grown up. The fastest journey home to Cornwall, wearing underpants with deep heat in them, goes to Ben Keeping. The award for the most childish practical jokes goes to Birdie, for God's sake. The fastest journey to an away match, this is without the help of deep heat, went to Scylla Hillary, another of Ben's lost kits at events. She went to Minster Lovell, which is quite a long way, and he did not bat. And he did not bowl. And the game was called off early in the second innings. In terms of bowling, let's have a look here. I've lost a page where I am. Here we are. The Taggart Award for bowling left-arm tripe goes to Ben Keeping. The best spell without a wicket goes to Gillet. 10 overs at Eynsham, 0 for 10, and lots of other games where he didn't take a wicket. The Scott Waite short spell without a wicket award goes to Harebear. First match of the season, village knockout, 1 ball for 4 runs, game over, thanks very much. And sure, and he was a little bit despondent late in the season, weren't you? One evening the old beer was going down. So I just, all this batting, I'd really like a bowl. I want a bowl. Why can't I have a bigger bowl? So, especially for you, Harebear, we have Harebear's bowl. Would you like to pass it back to Harebear? Harebear's ball. Okay. Righty-ho. The luckiest bowler of the year, he's had an award for it, was this guy, Brooksy. Definitely the luckiest. He took 5 wickets, and I had I was in the unfortunate position of being near the ball for his 5th wicket when it went in the air, and it was a very difficult decision as to whether to do it for the team or whether to do it for Brooksy, and unfortunately I made the wrong decision. He got 5 wickets and we won the game. The least balls before being taken off for high full touch. Sorry, this is a bit technical, am I being terribly patronising? But nowadays you can't bowl the ball high over the waist. You do it twice, you can't bowl anymore that day. And I thought it was Alan, but you bowled 10 balls at Aynsham without being taken off, and I think, Keeps, you bowled 8 balls against Challow and were taken off. But don't.
2 wickets.
Well, yeah. But are you keeping the? I hope Gillet is keeping the statistics here. But that's rubbish. We don't talk about the good stuff. But the short. Okay. The shortest spell of the season, because I've been through the stats, actually was David Saint. Not because he was taken off for bowling full time. He bowled 1 over for 5 runs and got 1 wicket. And I just want to know how that sort of spell happens. If a bloke's good enough to get a wicket for 5 runs in 1 over, maybe he should have bowled all earlier, or maybe he should have bowled for the rest of the game. But anyway, we'll leave that one. Well, in that case, he might have bowled the previous 49 overs, Phil. But anyway, Ben Keeping has a different distinction, which is being the only bowler when the opposition batsman, well, he was told to come off by the umpire, the opposition batsman actually begged for him to keep bowling. That was at Banbury, I think. The most surprising injury of the year, bowling very well over it. This game keeps coming up. It must have been an interesting game, or I must be paying attention or something. Was Gillet suddenly found a knee injury. I think maybe they scored a run off you and he thought that was the end of everything. But the fastest recovery was you about a ball later, just after Dakes had signalled to Matt Brightwell, well, you better bowl instead. And this guy suddenly had amazing powers of recovery and bowled his 10 overs. Okay, batting, the best comeback innings. The winner was definitely Mids versus Oxford. Well done, Mids, in '94. The runner-up of the best comeback innings was you, George, at Aynsham. You only made 46 or something, but it was more classy. You would have won it, but you ran me out, remember? Midsy made 94. Midsy made 94, and you get the useless six-hitter award. 1 ball to go. What happened, Midsy? Missed it. Talking of boundaries, Gillet. Big round of applause for Gillet. Gillet, in the whole season, he hit a boundary. Hit 1 boundary. The most sixes were hit by Hollywood and Hamza, that pair again. The most lucky sixes were all of Hollywood's. And Chesh, you've got 3 months left to hit your ambition of hitting a 6 this year, in 2018. The award for wearing a Gerrard's Cross shirt during a match goes to Lloydie. The award for wearing a shirt with the Ceramic Tile Company logo on it goes to Lloydie. An award for wearing a shirt with both Gerrard's Cross and the Ceramic Tile Company logo on it goes to Lloydie. Unfortunately, during the match, some of the tiles fell off, I seem to remember. Very disappointing season, Lloydie, wasn't it? Didn't run any of your teammates out. The most ducks in the season?
Ralphie.
4. But the most consecutive ducks, slightly cheating, one of them was not out, Jovan. 3 in a row. 3 in a row, Jovan. The best wicketkeeper in the club has to be Jovan, and I've not seen him keep more than once, but I tell you why he's the best. I've played with the other 2 in the first team, and he has to be the best. The most did not bats ever by a captain was Sniff, who routinely put himself down the order. Another little comment, just come back to my batting. Not that I want to go on about it a great deal with 4 ducks, but I had the biggest backhanded compliment of the season from Phil. I recently asked him on the phone, talking about life and everything like we normally do. I said, we're doing this Christmas concert down the church in Christmas, funnily enough. And I said, why don't you and Ros come to the concert in December? He said, not really my thing. And then he thought about it more. He said, in fact, I can't think of anything I'd like doing less. I'd even rather watch you bat. We've had the great run out of the season. We've had the great run out by Chesh of Taggart. But the other most satisfying run out of the season was when Graham gave Ben run out on the last ball of an innings, much to the amusement of the rest of his family, I seem to remember. Now, we've got some special awards here for batting. It's called the Rolfie Slow Batting Awards. The most overs batted for the least runs scored. Chesh is in 3rd place only. Batted for 45 overs for 56 not out. Is that good? Is that bad? It's a long time. Who was that? Dickers. Oh, Dickers. And Sean was runner-up. He took 14.5 overs to go from 42 to 50. That's a very long time. Before finishing off the innings with a 6, he hit a 6, Chesh. What does it feel like? Must be great. But the winner was Brooksy. At least I got a duck and got out quickly in this match. You took 12 overs and 3 balls to get off the mark. We won, and I have to say, in all seriousness, he did fantastically not to crack and to get 30 or 40 in the end and help win us the game. Award here for outscoring his dad in games when they both batted. I was amazed at this. Runners-up is Samuel, who astonishingly only did it twice. This is in games where they both batted. Despite the fact I got about 100 ducks, he only did it twice. Jay, you win this one. Clean sweep, mate. 5 times out of 5. 100%. And Taj, that gives you something to aim for. Although you might want something a bit more difficult, I don't know. I got to this stage and I thought they'd have had enough by now, and then I suddenly thought of Chesh again. And there was a conversation between Chesh and Taggart, apparently, about objectives. And the award for the most detailed description of an individual's objectives for a season, as spoken by Chesh to Taggart, went, I want to make 200 runs or more for the season. I want to hit a 6. Dream on. I want to get past 50 twice or more. I want to be good at seeing off the new ball. And I want to cash in later in the innings. I want to wear clean pads. I want to use Factor 30 sun cream. I want to eat plenty of fruit. I want to tell a good joke. And Taggart looked at him and gave the least detailed description of an individual's objective for the season, which simply was, I don't want to get run out by you, Chesh. The most entertaining performance of the season was probably Harebear's belly writhing after eating fowl. If you could incorporate that into your dive into the hedge, George, that would be something strictly aerobic, something like that. The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing Award goes to that nice Matt Brightwell who recommended what Harebear ordered that evening as the takeaway, very innocently. Now, perhaps I should have done this one at the start. The Premonition of the Season award goes to Dakes. In the first competitive match of the season, we turned out without Taggart. Taggart's played about the last 5 years, and we were lucky enough that he only played the game after that and then played another 17 games without him. So the Premonition of the Year award goes to Dakes, who in the first game at tea said, isn't it nice without Taggart? And talking of Dakes, we have a special new category award. It's called, some of you will know Malik, some of you won't know Malik, but I've already alluded to the general difficulty he finds in arriving early for a game, which is a bit tardiness, a bit like Keeps when he travels from Cornwall, doesn't arrive very early. And so the reward is the Malik Award for arriving later at a game than Saeed. Goes to Captain Dakeside at Twyford. Yes. And that's the Twyford in Buckinghamshire, Dakes. The award for the most arrivals just in time for a match goes to Keeps. And the award for actually arriving early for a match he wasn't selected for goes to Keeps at Sanford.
Thanks for bowing out.
Yeah, and who was dropped by his own son. He said, that'll teach you that homework you gave me 10 years ago. And the worst luck of the year award, just going back to me and my ducks, was when I was at Minster Lovell by the river and a family of ducks started walking across the pitch. A point which was not lost on the rest of my team. The most unlikely successful decision of the year goes to Sniff for bringing on Taggart late in the last match of the season. And I guess we get the stage of this speech where I ought to fulfill the bet.
You may be disappointed.
It's in the bag. It's always in the bag.
No, George, no photo. No photo.
I've seen him naked, he's hung like this. Don't worry, ladies. You won't see it from this far back.
It's much the same. But I promised I would do it. So, if you could take your eyes off my legs. For those of you who've been hearing the words Jimmy Lovebite, you may not know we have a very good guy at the club called James Hickey, and that is why he's known as Jimmy Lovebite. So there is some sense in it. But not everybody knew that here, Phil, you see, Phil. So anyway, the Lovebite of the year runner-up was Jimmy Lovebite, but I have to say, for his efforts in the first week, of Freshers Week, it goes to Sean Dryden. Yeah. I believe the evidence has been seen. Okay, the best looking player, joint last place, goes to George Gross and Hollywood. The best looking player when George isn't playing could be any of us. The most use of words he doesn't know during a match, know what they mean, goes to Birdie, who identified 4 types of tree in one game. He said there's evergreen, deciduous, coniferous and ambiguous. Okay. The award for the most statistics during a season, 174,962 statistics, goes to Gillet. Walking. The 3,462 in one match alone. The most spontaneous combustion over statistics in the scorebox also goes to Gillet at Sanford, where smoke was coming out of the scorebox at one time, and Minster Level, and anywhere else really. Best underarm thrower, in joke, runner-up keeps, winner Gillet. And we did have some people who missed matches, slightly unsurprisingly, some for good reasons and some for not so good. One of the good reasons was for me. I felt I needed a week off, which was a voyage of self-discovery and personal growth, taking the opportunity for change, reflection and discovery of new values.
Well, as you may have gathered, the iPhone couldn't take it anymore and collapsed on me. But here is the little bit of the rest of the speech. You might remember I was giving myself a prize for the best excuse for missing a match, taking a break, an opportunity for change, reflection and discovery of new values in an atmosphere of calm and tranquility. Put another way, it was a weekend away without Birdie. The 3 prizes for the worst excuses for missing a game of cricket. Mike Gillet went to watch Wycombe Wanderers based on the fact that they'd just got promoted, as if they'd get relegated again after the first match. Hamza was runner-up in this category for worst excuse because he spent some time with his family. But the prize for the worst excuse went to Alan, who said, "I spent time with my wife." The prize for the briefest match reports went to Taggart, and for the longest I couldn't say. The runner-up award for the funniest man on Bledlow Ridge Cricket Club went to Steve Bird, eat your heart out Birdie. And then we got on to some stats about Ben Keeping. We've heard stats about him all evening really. And he had another stat which was 4 not out in terms of children, of which he keeps producing a large number. And also the names he gives them seem to be rather confusing for some of us, the latest one being called Blythe, which we think on balance is probably a girl. There were a couple of awards for Cooperman, who became the first ever Bledlow Ridge bowler to bowl with a man bun, and he was also the first player to leave a club match to go and join a kibbutz. Getting towards the end, David Saint and Mark Neal got an award for a ludicrous request for players to bowl at them in the nets one dark Thursday evening, not realising that Cooperman, who can bowl quite sharply, was available to do so. And then I concluded really with an old favourite, but I've not been able to award the happiest Scotsman of the year for a year or two now, ever since Doug McIndoe left. In fact, this award has never been won, it's always been lost. Those two, McIndoe and Murdoch, always being in last place. So the award has been suspended, pending the possible arrival of a future Scotsman. So that's really how it all wound up, except for a little news item on the road issue that I'd mentioned earlier in the speech about that lorry that had overturned. But the good news from the police was that the lorry had shed a load of Vapor Rub. And they said the good news was that there would be no congestion for at least 8 hours. And that was it.